Ever hit apply and wondered, does anyone even see this resume? Or is it just lost in a sea of keywords and algorithms?
Or ever wondered how it's like to switch in this field? How it's like to move, to grow, and to excel in corporate environment?
If you've ever had any of those questions in mind, you're not alone. Today we are diving straight into the heart of hiring with someone who knows exactly what happens behind that HR curtain.
Not just an HR professional, she is a talent strategist, a person who acts as a bridge between opportunity and potential.
With over 13 years of experience in this field, joining us for the very first episode of 9 to 5 Show, Axeno's very own podcast, is AVP of Talent Acquisition at Axeno, Bushra Mehdi.
First of all, hi Bushra. Thank you very much for joining our 9 to 5 show.
Thank you.
Hi.
So, it's been a long journey for you, right? So, how's life going as an HR?
Constantly on the edge and very exciting.
So, speaking about journey, let's start from the very basics. How did you find your way into HR and what inspired you to move forward in this particular field?
Okay, so I pursued my MBA in HR. Back then, never thought I would land up in a role like this. So post my MBA, generally, mostly back then, it was sort of the trend that you would start your journey in HR by the role of recruitments. That's how I also started. Luckily, my first experience was in IT recruitments. That definitely gave me an edge in terms of making it easier to enter in this industry. And I knew that eventually I would be able to graduate to a role which I am handling right now. So I spent about 4 to 5 years handling end-to-end IT recruitments, and then I landed up with Axeno.
Okay, so since this episode is majorly focused on campus hirings, and most of the viewers are seeing this video because of that, let's start with I would say, how does your team approach college while campus placements, and how do you collaborate with the institution?
Okay, so see, it's important to first understand that what is our need in terms of how many people do we need, what kind of people do we need, what specialization are we looking for. Of course, the college overall ranking in performance. What kind of companies are picking students from this college? Because definitely there's a different ask when it's a you know large service-based company or a different ask from a young startup organization like ours. So those filters is something that we look at. So over the years, we've now figured out our favorite colleges that we tend to go over and over again. It has worked well. It's not that we don't like to experiment. We have. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it does not. But yes, we would still want to, stick to some of our listed colleges. I think most organizations prefer that. Once you've identified your set of 4 or 5 colleges, you want to stick to that. It also helps build a certain kind of rapport. It's just more easier because the numbers in campus that you're dealing with are huge. So then you don't want to experiment with a lot of other factors. And so let's say if we take a January batch, it's very important that when we start the conversation with the college. So for a January batch, maybe we would want to start talking to the college, say by around the month of end of July or August, so that we can start going to the college by the month of September, October. We tend to close everything by October end or latest by first week of November. Everything is done and dusted, and by January the batch starts coming to office. It's only recently in the last 2 or 3 years is when we also started taking a July batch. So for that, we generally plan by April, May. Yeah, it is. It's at least a 3 to 4 month long process. There's a lot of homework, a lot of background work that happens to bring in 20, 15, or 30 set of people.
That's great. So, whenever we speak to students, we get mixed reactions on the HR interview procedure. Like most of the students have this reaction that we'll go through technical round 1, technical round 2, but when it goes to HR, we don't think we'll get in. On the other hand, some students are like, if I crack all the technical rounds, I'll easily go through the HR round. So, what, according to you, like, what should they prepare for that, one HR round? What is that one criteria you judge on the basis of in that particular HR round?
Okay, so to begin with, firstly, HR rounds are also rejection rounds. It's very important for them to understand that. Not just Axeno for that matter, I would say. A lot of organizations now focus a lot on that last cultural fitment round. In fact, there are organizations who would probably do it even before the tech round. Uh, Plus, you have to align with the core values of the organization that you're joining. So, for example, if Axeno focuses immensely on qualities like humility, respect, agility, open communication, uh, it's something that we are going to evaluate you on in the HR round. So I think how you can prepare is focus a lot on the presentation that the company may have given in your college. It is one of the best hacks to crack the HR interview. In fact, I say this often in the presentation, that focus on that, because that is where we are talking a lot about culture. That is where we are talking about policies. That is where we probably will even uh, give a cheat sheet on how to crack tech rounds or HR rounds. Focus there. If you've attended the presentation well, I think that will definitely help you crack the HR interview well. It is a rejection round.
Okay.
Okay, so as you mentioned about the pre-placement talk and on the whole procedure, let's move a little backwards for all the rounds. The first thing which every student starts as their approach to a job is making their resume. And most of the people are very confused what to write, what not to write. So, from a perspective of an HR, I would say you have seen many resumes, selected many, rejected many. So, uh, how would you recommend the viewers? This is a better resume, or these points should be highlighted in a resume or a CV. What is your take on that?
So the answer would vary for a fresher and for an experienced resource. I'll just focus on answering it for fresher. Um, Firstly, please keep it a one-pager CV. In fact, this is something that I often see, particularly with interns. Uh, they tend to have three-pager, four-pager kind of a CV. People will write a project wherein they were probably one of the passive group members. So when they are questioned on it, they're not able to talk about it, and it goes negative. While that does not mean that the person does not know, but at least from the CV standpoint, it may go negative. Also, I think CV is a very it's one of your ways to sort of control the interview conversation, because understand that a technical interview and even sometimes HR interviewers would look at your CV and the first question will come from the CV. So in a way, you can actually prompt that question: is how interesting your CV is. So at least for those initial 1 or 2 minutes, the ball is in your court while the person is reading your CV and trying to pick a question from the CV. I think that helps.
Short and crisp and no fake promises.
And what about a photograph?
I personally would recommend avoid the picture. Um, as long as you have your name, your LinkedIn, your other contact details, skip the picture, because eventually, if they really are keen, they would click on the LinkedIn profile and look at it. You can skip the picture.
Okay, so you almost answered my next question. Like, of course, CV is important. So, like, in the current market situation, students are asked that focus on your LinkedIn, like, as much as possible. Not only for freshers, but also for experienced. LinkedIn profile is of great importance. So, I would like to ask you, like, when you recruit, do companies actually visit the social media accounts, especially LinkedIn, of that particular one contender?
LinkedIn, yes, not other social media handles, but yes. So, okay, if I can be honest, see, not having a LinkedIn profile can go against you. Having a LinkedIn profile is good. It may add a value. Sometimes it is not looked at. Maybe at a fresher's level, it may not be evaluated. But if you don't have it altogether, it will definitely. Uh, it's a negative. It's a you've scored a negative there. Even as a fresher, have a decent LinkedIn profile, because as a habit you should start building that habit that okay, I need to work on my LinkedIn account. I need to have a decent profile. I should start posting whatever volunteering activities I'm doing, because it's not something that you can build overnight. It's the way you guys invest time on your Instagram account, where you're regularly making posts, and then over the years you would have enough content on your Instagram. Similarly, on your LinkedIn, make it a regular habit wherein you're adding certificates, and then the moment you start doing that, you would start feeling the need. Okay, it's been a while, I have not posted anything on LinkedIn. Let me go back, do a certification, and then post it. So it will eventually drive you to learn. So yes, it's very good to have a good LinkedIn profile.
Okay. So that's great about LinkedIn. So we have one small question about the behind the scenes of resume filtering. Like, would you like to share, once a resume comes to you, how does the filtering and what are the different steps involved in that particular procedure?
Okay, so for campus, again, generally the filtering criteria is shared with the college. So, and these filtering criteria, because we're dealing with really large numbers when it comes to campus. From every college, we would get somewhere around 700 to 800 of resumes. Uh, Generally, the list comes according to that criteria that we have set. Uh, After that, they undergo an online test. And from there onwards, so filtering of the CV has not happened at that stage, or even for that matter, for interviews. Um, that does not mean that we're not looking at the CV, the quality of the CV. For example, let's say if there's a prominent grammatical error, if there's a spelling mistake, all are red flags. Um, uh, CV has no structure, definitely a red flag. All of that will pass through. But yes, we are not eliminating basis a CV, at least in the initial 2-3 rounds, wherein there's when the list comes, when online test happens, when the group discussion happens, or when the technical round one happens. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And you discussed about college placements and on-campus hiring. Let's say from a perspective of off-campus person, a student who has no backing of a college and is willing to join any company and is willing to join Axeno. So how can that person approach the company? And at the same time, how does the company deal with that candidate?
Okay, so to be honest, at least in Axeno, we because we go for regular campuses, and now in the last few years we've started taking 2 batches in a year, so we're not really focusing on open campus drives or getting people from off campus. Having said that, uh, it's not that we have not taken. We have taken people off campus, and they've turned out to be great team members. Uh, so how somebody can approach, I think it's very important if they're particularly targeting a certain organization. So in this case, let's take an example of Axeno. If they want to be part of Axeno, they've heard about us. I think one of the things that I can recommend them to is understand when the company is hiring. What is their pattern? So if I take my batch in the month of January or July, I would want to take, whether through campus or off campus, I want to take in the month of January, February, or July, August, may not go beyond, because an intern will undergo 6 months of training. If I'm hiring a batch of 20-25 people and going to put them under 6 month long training, then I would not want to have somebody joining off track, say in the month of April, where my are done with their training, and then I'm probably training this one individual separately. Even that person may not have such an experience that the other set of 25 interns had, learning with each other with proper structured training. So, step one, understand when this organization takes their campus interns, is when they should apply. it's always great to route it through somebody from the organization, uh, because understand that we as HRs get a lot of CVs throughout the year. Some we tend to see. It's possible that some may get missed, but let's say when it's another employee, say you're part of Axeno. So if Aditya sends me an email that, hey Bushra, I came across this CV and I think this looks relevant to me, please give it a look. I will definitely give it a look, because now it's my team member who has reviewed, who's part of Axeno. He or she understands what Axeno needs, and he or she is recommending this person. So one, I already have built some amount of trust on that CV because it's coming from my own team member. So that may give that CV a little more visibility, but it will still not guarantee that it's going to get hired. It will, that person will still undergo the exact same hiring process than anybody else would. But yes, it will definitely get a higher amount of visibility. So I think that's something that they can do.
Okay. So this is all about the entry level hiring. Talking about experienced level hiring, like how do your expectations shift when hiring in entry level versus when you hire at experience level?
Okay, so if I have to look at it, see, behaviorally, of course, we're looking at slightly different kind of behavioral patterns for a fresher. But when it comes to an experienced resource, there's definitely a huge amount of focus on the technical know-how, the subject matter knowledge that they bring to the table. Um, in simple terms, for a fresher, because they don't have experience as of now, it's the potential that we're looking at. But for an experience, it's a combination of performance and potential, because performance will also reflect that, if somebody with 3 years of experience or 5 years of experience, if my expectation is that they should know this, and if they don't, that not only questions the performance but also the potential of the person. So yes, for them, it's going to be a combination of what they've done in the past, how they have evolved from their experiences, from their highs and lows, and what more are they looking forward to? Are they still keen to learn, or have they gotten complacent? Are they agile? Are they open to learning new things? Because as a fresher, yes, everybody is like, yeah, I'm willing to learn a language A, B, C, whatever. But how open as an experienced resource are you to learn something new? Are you open to pick up a new role, pick up um, an added role other than your regular role that you are known for? So these things is what we look for.
Performance and potential is the key.
True. True. So how do I frame this? Now, in today's social media culture, there is people, says a lot that who don't have any picture or are very alien to the corporate world. Thinks that HR's work only is for 2 months in a year, let's say for hiring or for some leave apply, some type of jobs. And I want the viewers to actually see and hear that what role HR actually plays, which are very underrated jobs, underrated tasks, and people need to hear that what kind of work you do, which makes the company very stable. So please reflect something on that.
Um, so yeah, I know there are a lot of jokes and memes around it. But our job is way more than planning a party or drafting a payslip. Um, and and I would not say that people don't realize it now. In the last, definitely in the last decade, in fact, for that matter, the role of the HR has grown significantly, uh, and organizations and people have started to notice that as well. Um, so we're no more talking about just, uh, approving a leave or drafting a policy for that matter. HRs are in the boardrooms, contributing in decision making and decisions in terms of uh, you know concepts like diversity, equality and inclusion, or development of the leadership team, or how to bring in AI to remove biases, or talk about predictive analysis to sort of take better decisions in terms of hiring or avoid minimizing attrition. understanding trends about appraisals. Uh, these are the things that they're talking about now, and working on it. So no, I don't think the role is limited, and also I don't think it is underestimated as now, because organizations are focusing a lot on building a structured HR team. They're called HR business partners for a reason now, because they're contributing in decision making, and they're investing in concepts like these, where they're investing huge amounts in having a structured LMS to provide trainings. There's a different department altogether which is only focused on learning and development, not just for freshers, but to the executive levels. So yeah, I think that that answers the question, that the role is significant.
Definitely. Yes. And the viewers need to hear that. Okay, so uh, people say that work actually changes the mindset and the belief of a person, right?
Mm.
So you have taken a lot of interviews, seen a lot of people talking, and with time, your instincts, your strategies with dealing with people must have evolved a lot. So, can you reflect that during the beginning of your career as well as now, how this has evolved, how your instincts for a person have changed?
Mm.
Um, okay. So I think no, initially it's not really the instincts that you would work on. When you just start taking interviews, you would probably learn from the interviews that you're taking, and then making your notes and taking decisions. Um, I think as over the years you grow, you tend to study patterns. You may still, and you may enter the interview. So I as an HR, I may enter the interview with a certain gut feeling or an instinct that, okay, this person will click or not click. So let's say if I'm entering an interview with any kind of instinct that, okay, this person will click, I'm probably looking at reasonings, because I still have to justify that why my instinct said this. Um but again, I still have to keep an open mind that it can go the other way around. Um, the questions get creative. I think when I mean, if I speak for myself, when I started, I would ask the usual conventional questions to get my answers. But now the questions will probably get unconventional. Uh, the questions are passive, and I know I'm getting my answers. I think that changes with experience.
Okay, so continuing on to this question only, like I've been longing the entire episode to ask this one question. Like, what is that one memorable incident that has ever happened with you, like with any interview, with any experience level or any entry level, that changed your thinking or that left a remarkable impact on your life? Or was it horrible, a funny incident, or anything like that?
It's very difficult to pick one, Nilakshi, to be very honest, because there's so many interesting experiences that we have. None of it is bad, I would say. It's either good, or you come out learning, or you come out having a good time. Uh, but it's very hard to pick one. Um, we've had we've had experiences where the interview is going well, but for some reason there's certain disagreements, and we choose not to select, but still the candidate is mature enough to understand that and be very respectful about it. I think these would be my favorite experiences, where the candidate turns out to be so mature, wherein they know that this is not going well, but they're still respectful, and they still end it on a good note. They still share a positive feedback to the recruiters, and they say that we'll come back around. And we've had cases where people have come back around. We've had cases where an interview did not go well. The person did not crack the interview. They studied, they prepared again, they came back again, gave the interview after 6 months, um, and they cracked it. I think this probably would be, so again, I cannot take the name, but I think this is definitely one of our favorite stories that we tend to remember.
So, uh, coming towards the end of this episode, Like the current condition of market is not that good. Like, so what would you like to, give an advice to our viewers who are preparing for interviews, who are about to give that one interview, so that they get through that interview?
Are we addressing this to freshers?
If freshers experience level, what?
See, for freshers, I would definitely say that build skill, uh, keep practicing. Don't only rely on what you're taught in the college. There are so many platforms. There's no dearth of platforms now that you can't learn. There are open, free learning courses available. Uh, have some direction. While I've said this a lot that organizations look for agility and are you open to learning many things, but having said that, at least bring one or two skills to the table. Organizations will train you on others, but at least bring some understanding of at least one or two subjects. That, let's say, if you're asked a question on a particular subject, you should have a solid understanding of that one particular subject or two subjects. That can happen through practice. So do that, and while you're doing that, invest a little on building an overall you know be- behavior uh, that these corporates tend to look in for. While I'm not saying that we're looking at a 10 on 10 English, no. Uh, People often get confused about this, that okay, I can't speak fluent English, will I be able to crack the HR round? It's okay. So when an organization says communication, we are not expecting a 10 on 10 English. We're not expecting that you make zero grammatical errors and go through with it. No. What we're really expecting is you should be able to express yourself clearly. So it's the confidence that you're bringing to the table. So work on these things. This is important. Come prepared with some questions. There are certain conventional HR questions that HR will ask. I think this is something that I have learned personally. When you give interviews, you are giving interviews, you're probably getting rejected at 9 interviews, but those 9 interviews have given you a question bank. So if you were asked 10 questions, you now have a bank of 90 questions. Prepare those questions, and you can actually use those answers that you've prepared in the next interview in some way or the other. You can induce those answers in some way or the other. So keep giving interviews, don't stop giving interviews.
Very well.
Thank you.
So many questions answered
Yeah.
today. And to wrap the episode now, what one message you would like to give the viewers?
um I think it's very important to excel. Also, it's important to enjoy where you're working, to enjoy what you're doing. So when you're looking for a job, do focus on the role and the culture of that organization. These two things are very, very important. Money definitely will follow. If you're good at your role, money will follow. But are you, on a day-to-day basis, 8 hours that you're going to spend somewhere, are you really enjoying that place? Are you really enjoying working with these people? Because trust me, every day you're going to have many disagreements, you're going to have bad days. Are you able to share those bad days with a good set of people who are a support system for you, who are thinking about your growth? Think from that angle, and I think if you're able to find that kind of fit, there's no way that you will not grow. There's a reason why I've been here for 7 years, and there's so many in my organization that I see have been here for a really long time. I think this is how it has worked for most of us. So I'm speaking basis my personal experience. uh, so yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you hit the like
Share
and subscribe.